Hi, my name's Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff, where I'll make a healthy dinner from start to finish and pair it with wines from around the world. Let's fill up that glass.
Hi, I'm Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff. Today we're doing a Cajun Creole Gumbo. That is so delicious. Oh my God, you are gonna want to keep this recipe, I'm telling you. And we are pairing it with this Riesling from Washington. Oh, it is amazing. So we'll get started here. We have our trinity of vegetables right here in front of us. You know, the French have their mirepoix. Well, the Cajun Creole cooking has their trinity, which is the bell pepper, celery, and onion. So first tip of the day of this gumbo, it's extremely important. Once you get started on that roux, you want to have everything else prepped and ready before you start that roux. So let's chop up all of our trinity of vegetables, get them all diced up and ready, get our meat ready, because everything will happen fast once you start that roux. So let's get chopping. Now that we're all prepped and ready, I have vegetable oil here in a large Dutch oven. You want a large Dutch oven or a large pot that you can hold all your ingredients, because this is a one-pot wonder. We're going to start with our roux, which is the most important thing. Very most important thing in gumbo. And what a roux is, it's half oil and half flour. And we are going to take this roux through many different stages, and I'm going to show you each stage. And each stage is layering of flavors on flavors. So the oil, we want to do an oil, why I'm using a vegetable oil, is you want to be able to get it up to a high temperature. Like a extra virgin olive oil just wouldn't cut it. It would burn and smoke. So like I said, this roux is extremely important. Let's test the flour. And it looks like it is ready for me. So we're just gonna slowly start adding in the flour, and you'll see it bubble up here. But what you wanna do constantly is, at this point in time, you are gonna be moving this hot oil and flour around. And you're gonna be doing this for the next 25 to 30 minutes. So I like using a wooden flat spatula like this. Let's get the rest of this flour in here. And the reason why, it's much easier to get it off the bottom of the pan. And since you're going to be constantly working in here for the next, let's get that all in there. Okay. And the first stage of the roux you're going to see right here, once all the flour is absorbed by the oil, is what they call a blonde roux. And a lot of times they use this in a bechamel sauce or anything like that. And that is, see how that's bubbling right now? I have it on a medium high. I'm now going to turn it down to a medium. A lot of people will do it on a medium high all the way through, but it's a very easy way of burning your roux. And if you burn your roux, throw it out. Please throw it out. Because like I say, this is what brings all the flavor. So I'm going to be sitting here constantly stirring here, and I'm going to bring you back. We have this blonde roux stage, and then it's going to go to a peanut butter stage, looking like peanut butter, and then it will go to a copper penny, which is about where I'm going to stop. But other people take it to a milk chocolate stage, each stage brings different layers and layers of flavor to it. So I'm just going to keep going here, and I'll bring you back when it looks like the peanut butter stage. Here's the stage of peanut butter that I wanted to show you. Now take a look at my peanut butter and take a look at this. You'll start smelling like these nutty aromas from browning the flour. And this took about 15 minutes to get to this stage. 15, I wasn't timing it exactly, it might have been 15 to 20 minutes on a medium heat. And we're going to take it further. Now we're going to go to what I call the copper penny look, which is actually darker than this. So we'll just keep on stirring. I'm standing here, bringing you back for each stage so you know what it looks like and the amount of time it actually takes you to do this, which is the most time-consuming part of the whole process of making this. The rest is very easy. You kind of dump it all in and let it simmer. So I'm going to keep stirring, and I'll bring you back in the copper penny stage. Now at our last stage is where I like to stop. But everybody stops at different areas. People take this all the way to a dark chocolate, like what they call a black roux. This is what I call copper penny, heading towards like a milk chocolate. This is like actually almost at the milk chocolate right now. So remember, this is screaming hot oil, by the way. So we were going to start, that's why we want to do everything way in advance, so all of our vegetables are ready to hit right on in. So, do you hear that? That is hot oil. Let's get our vegetables all in there, and all the exact measurements, and there's right down below in the description center for a link to take you to my website with the recipe and everything. So, you want to just stir this. This will seize up and thick up really fast right now with the vegetables. You'll see it thicken up. And at this point in time, you want to just give it a little bit of salt and pepper to let them release their juices. So this will probably go for about 5 minutes before we add in our andouille sausage. So just a little bit of salt and pepper. There we go, right on in. Salt and pepper, and we're just going to keep this stirring because we don't want the vegetables to burn. And this is another reason why I'm adding garlic powder in at this time. If you add garlic in with this, it will burn immediately because that oil is screaming hot. So that's a good tip. If you want to add fresh garlic in, I would not add that in until you get to you dumping in your broth and let it cook in your broth. So I'm just going to keep stirring here. We'll keep stirring and let them release all their juices here, and we'll get adding in that meat. It's been about 5 minutes, and take a look at this. Look how dark that looks. It's amazing. Right now I'm going to throw in my andouille sausage, which is this Cajun smoked pork sausage. It really brings a lot of flavor because it's going to simmer in the broth. So we're just going to stir this through right here like this. It doesn't need to cook. It's smoked already, and everything is going to cook in the broth anyway. And look at that roux. Look how dark it is. It's amazing. And a tip, see this? This is, I call my roux spoon. It will burn and darken on the end, so don't use your favorite wooden spatula because it will turn. And this is where I save so much time in people. If you want to use store-bought chicken broth at this point in time, you can, because I'm bringing all the flavors by putting in some chicken legs, raw chicken legs. So we're skipping the whole step of, taking the whole chicken, putting it in quarts of water, boiling water, making your own stock, deboning it, right? So we're skipping that step. Now this right now looks watery, but this will thicken up because of all the roux. So now to that, we want to add in some bay leaves. Okay, one just dropped on the floor, so I'm not going to pick that one up, and I'm going to keep rolling. I'll grab another one out of the cupboard later while it's simmering. And to this, I have some cayenne pepper and garlic powder going right on in. And like I say, all the exact measurements are right down below in the description center. So we're saving about 2 hours of step here by not making your own stock. You can get store-bought, and this is how it's going to taste, like raw chicken legs going right on in. Okay? Let me just use the one hand here. And we're going to stir this. And the last thing that goes in for the last 10 minutes of cooking is our shrimp. And right now they're still in the fridge. I'll have to devein them, take the shells off. They want to go in just the last 10 minutes of cooking. So it's a total of an hour and a half we're going to let this simmer. So we're going to bring this up to a simmer, lid off, because we want it to reduce and thicken up and get all of its flavors, and the raw chicken legs will just fall off the bone and give so much flavor if you're using store-bought stock. And so you're done this gumbo in 2 hours. Half an hour for the roux and an hour and a half for simmering, and it is done. Pour it over your rice. Oh, it's amazing. It is really, really, really good. So we'll let that come up to a simmer, and we'll let that simmer for an hour and a half. Let me grab the other bay leaf. Our gumbo has been simmering for about an hour and 20 minutes. Now the last 10 minutes, I'm gonna throw in our shrimp here. I have some fresh thyme going right in now. And I put that in last because if I find when I put it in at the beginning, it sort of loses all of its flavor in the stock there. And the shrimp is going right in. It's up to you. If you want to add the shrimp with the shells in it to give it a little more flavor, a little more seafood flavor. I take them off because the family here doesn't like to have to take the shells off while they're eating. So that is going to stir in. So we'll stir that, and this is just going to simmer for an extra 10 minutes. That's it, until the shrimp is done, and you're going to pour that over some white rice, and you can garnish it with cilantro or some fresh, some scallions, whatever you would like. But let's talk about the wine here. This is St. Michel from Washington. It is a Riesling. And why I picked this is to pare down on all the spiciness going on in the gumbo. Let me take a sip. Wow. I'm getting stone fruit like peaches and a little bit of minerality from the earth and a little bit of citrus notes too, like lemon. It's very delicious. It's very good. And it's not a sweet Riesling either. It's in between a dry and a sweet Riesling. So you will definitely love this. And we'll let that go for just another few minutes. But gumbo can be done so many different ways. Say you can do a seafood gumbo. There's green gumbos out there. So it's, people say, well, where's the okra, Jeff, right? You didn't put okra in. So I left the okra out. A lot of people love okra in their gumbo, and some people don't. And other people will say, Jeff, where's your filet powder? And filet powder, I am skipping to. You could add that right at the end if you want to add it. It is traditional. It is dried sassafras leaves. And you want to put that in right before you serve because it will turn bitter if you cook with it. So it acts as a thickener, and it gives a little bit earthy flavor too. So that is an optional thing that you can put also as in filet powder. So we'll let that finish up, and I can't wait to dig in. Before I dig in, I first would like to thank all my subscribers. And if you're not yet a subscriber, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my recipes. And don't forget to like, share, and ring that bell because I have a new recipe every Tuesday. I can't wait any longer. I have to try. I think the best way with this is almost like a spoon. I have here cut a piece of chicken, and here's a piece of sausage. I just love the sauce. The sauce is just amazing. Wow. Just the perfect amount of heat and smokiness with that andouille sausage. That is so delicious. But remember, it's gumbo. Make it your way. Put your favorite things in it that you'd like to do. You just start off with that roux and how I have you doing with the trinity of vegetables, and add your favorites. I would like to thank you for stopping by Wine and Dine with Jeff, and we'll see you next week.